Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about final keyword in Java. Final is a very important keyword and it can be placed in front of a variable, in front of a function or in front of a class. Let's see practically how to use it in Eclipse. Okay, let's create a new Java project, file new Java project. Project name is final demo, finish. Inside this, we'll see how to use final in front of a variable, in front of a function and in front of a class. So I will create separate packages for them. Let's create a new package called final variable. Finish. Inside this, let's create a new class called calculate. Okay, let's see. Inside this calculate, we want to use final variables and see. So let's have a variable final int yes equal 100. Got it? Yeah. So now we want to see by creating a main function here so that we can access it. So how to access it? We have to first create an object of calculate. Calculate c1 equals new calculate. Then we want to display the value of the final variable c1 dot yes. No problem. Let's try to run it and see. Absolutely fine. 100 we are getting. But now let's try to change the value of this final variable. Will it work? Let's see. c1 dot yes equals 200. See, there is an error immediately, a compile time error. If you put our cursor on the cross, what does it say? The final field yes cannot be assigned. Like you cannot modify it. So final variable, what is the main point about final variable? You cannot modify a final variable. So where to use in a project? Let me comment this out. Okay, where to use it in a project? Wherever you feel that that variable shouldn't be modified. Example is, like for example, you are using pi. The value of pi is fixed. You know that 3.14. Or the speed of light, for example, you are using in a project. You cannot modify that value of speed of light. You shouldn't. So what we can do is we can have final int, not int, it's double, right? Double pi equal 3.14 semicolon. So you are telling that you shouldn't modify the value of pi, or the speed of light also you can take. That is also final. People shouldn't be able to modify it. Another thing about final variables is, by convention, final variables are kept in capitals like this. Mark it. Final variables by convention are in capitals. Okay. So one more thing about final, you may just declare it like this: final void pi, but you have to give a value. There are three ways of doing it. Either you give the value here itself, like 100. This is the first way. Or if you don't want to do this, let's take another line here: final void pi semicolon, and we are just declaring it, and we can initialize it using a instance variable initializer block like this: pi equals 3.14. Either you do like this, or you can do it through a constructor also. Let's create a constructor. Calculate bracket curly brackets, and you may give the value of pi here also like this. But you cannot define it twice. If you want to use initializer block, welcome. If you want to use the constructor, welcome. But you cannot do both. So let me comment this initializer block. Now let's see, is it working? Pi equals 3.14. Okay, I commented this one also. Let me uncomment this. Declaration has to be there. Now we are giving this value like this. So three ways of initializing a final variable. Either you give the value here itself, initialize it while you are declaring it, or you use an initializer block like this, or you can do it through the help of a constructor. But you cannot use like both of them. You define the value here and again inside a constructor or the initializer block. That's not allowed. Okay, this is all about final variable. Interview question can be like, can you just declare a final variable and don't initialize it? Yes, absolutely correct. You can do that, provided you initialize it within a initializer block or inside a constructor. You cannot just declare it and keep it like this. You have to give it a value. Okay, this is all about final variables. Now let's move to the next thing, final function. For that also we'll create one more package here. Okay, final function. Let's create an example here, like let's create a new class called book. Finish. And the book class has a function called show content, public void show show content, and we can have a system.out.println books, so books content. Books content. Okay, now we are going to create one more class called novel. Class novel extends book. Okay, we are creating a subclass, a child class of it. So the show content can easily be overridden in the child class, right? And we can have show novels content. So we are overriding this show content. No problem with that. In the child class, we can easily override the functions of the parent class. But if we have a function called show publisher, public void show publisher info, like this. So sysout xyz publisher. For example, this is the info of the publisher. So we are creating this project for a publisher. So all the books, it may be novels or fictions, everything are by that publisher, and this publisher doesn't want his info to be modified. So what he will do is he will make this as final, public final void so publisher info. So the novel class, which is extending book class, we cannot like override this function void so publisher. We cannot come and override this function. Okay, that's not possible. See, cannot override the final method from the book. So very simple. If it's a final method, you cannot override in the child class. You cannot modify it. Like you are keeping a restriction. Like you cannot modify this function. You have to use it as it is. You cannot modify it. Okay, that's about final functions. Now create a final class. Let's see. Let's create a package for that also. Final class, finish. And now here we can create a new class called Aadhaar. New package so we have created. Okay, we have created a new package called final class. We can create a new class within it called ADHAR, Aadhaar. Okay, Aadhaar card we are creating. Aadhaar card. Okay, finish. And here we have like a variable called int your ID, Aadhaar ID semicolon. Maybe it's private, better. And we can have the getter setter methods, right click source, generate getter setters. Yeah. So we have a class called Aadhaar card, and the government doesn't want that people should be able to modify this or subclass it and create their own Aadhaar card type of thing, like a citizen card. That's not allowed. Government says don't modify this. Like, so what we can do here is we can make this final, public final class Aadhaar card. So it should be used as it is. Like people shouldn't be able to create like class citizen card that extends Aadhaar card. This shouldn't be possible. So what we have done, see, the error is the type citizen card cannot subclass the final class Aadhaar card. Means you cannot subclass a final class. You cannot inherit from a final class. Okay. So we have completed the final variable, final function, and final class. So summary is final variables you cannot modify, and you have to initialize it while declaring it, or if you don't want to initialize while declaring, you have to initialize it within a initializer block or within a constructor. But you cannot do it, like if you are doing it in a initializer block, you cannot redo it within a constructor. You have to do it once. That is about final variable. Final function is like, if it's a final function, you cannot override in the child classes. You can use it as it is, it will automatically come, but you cannot override it, modify it. Now final class, you cannot subclass it. Again, you have to use it as it is. This class cannot be inherited. Okay, this is all about final keyword. We can discuss another topic in another video. Thank you.